Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. I'm thrilled that we have Jim Padilla here with us. He's a specialist in sales and also known as a Sales Godfather. So, Jim, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hey, Tony, so good to be back. My wife and I have this company called Gain the Edge, and we specialize in scaling companies with sales teams. We help people win with sales systems, teams, and processes. And we design companies to make revenue and then put salespeople in place. You need a revenue machine that people can operate. You don't need magical people that are trying to fix your business because that doesn't work. The greatest salespeople on the planet aren't going to make your business any better. But great systems make salespeople better and make your business better.
Totally, and I know that we know each other for some time now, and I know that you've been working with some big names in the industry, and that your company also made loads of sales for these people and everything. So, can you tell us, what is one of the keys of your success?
Really, the key to success for us is we've learned everything the hard way, but the benefit is that we see the opportunity and we move. We have a bias towards action, and so when we see something, we know it can work. We put it into play so we can get data. We don't spend a lot of time guessing, and we say, okay, I think this will work, and I think this is why, and then we put it into action, and then we get feedback, and the feedback tells us, did it work? Did it not work? Why did it work? Why didn't it work? And then what changes do we make from there? While most people are still busy trying to guess and figure it out. So yeah, you got to be moving. If you obsess about the problems that your clients have, then all you will think about is the solutions to provide for them. And that's how you grow business. That's how you start making revenue. That's how you become valuable. That's how you become positioned and well known and sought after. Most people spend their time focusing on the problems that they have. And if you're an entrepreneur, you have problems every day. But if you spend more time focusing on your problems than your clients' problems, then your business will always be shrunk and contracted and will be focused on you. You need to focus on them.
Wow, such valuable information, absolutely. And then on top of that, like if you can share with us, because this is some problem that a lot of entrepreneurs are facing, and we also faced in our own businesses. So selecting the right company to provide you sales team, like can you give us some tips on this, please?
Um, it basically you have to. This is the way I try to get everybody to think the problem. Number one, don't be focused on the product you sell. Focus on the problems that you solve, and if you can market to your constraints, meaning I can only serve 5 companies at a time, or I can serve 20 people at a time, then you have to consistently focus on, I have 12 people I can help. I have 6 people I can help. It becomes an urgency creator for people, right? So we find the problems that if you have a sales manager who doesn't have any systems, or doesn't know how to implement systems, which is most people, most sales managers know how to manage people, but they don't know how to create the systems that'll manage them. So we're looking for people who are running teams and not effective because they don't have systems to make them effective, right? Or you're busy, you're trying to free yourself, you're running your sales teams, and instead you're trapped. You can't go out and be the visionary. You can't do the things. You can't grow to the next level of business you want because you're too busy in the details of the day-to-day of the business. And so that's when you need to start looking for either a person or a system and a strategy that will solve for that. And so we help smaller companies make more sales. We help sales teams perform better, and we step in for larger companies that are ready to just hand off the sales process altogether because they don't want to focus on it. They need it optimized and helped and run by an expert, right? So one of those 3 buckets is where usually we find people.
Totally. And then also because you're an entrepreneur as well yourself, and how do you actually deal with like negative situations in your business?
I have learned, first of all, ownership is a core value of ours. Mine and my wife, a personal core value, and in our company. Ownership in our world defined as everything that happens at some level, I was responsible for it. That way, when something breaks, I can't go to my team and say, "What did you do?" Somewhere in there was something I did that didn't give them everything they needed to do the job right. Either I wasn't clear, didn't give them the right tool, something was missing. So when you first, you got to own it so that way you don't get mad at people. And then you understand that everything that happens is nothing but feedback. It's not judgment. Something didn't work. Why didn't it work? Just ask questions. Why didn't it work? What was missing? What do we need to do about it? And if it did work, equally as important, why did it work? How do you know? Because I see too many people who will do something great and then they'll never do that thing again. I'm like, what are you doing? It worked. Do you know it worked? Do you know why it worked? Do you know how it worked? Or did you just get lucky? Right? So you need to constantly be having feedback mechanisms that will give you insight and data. And then understand that things are going to go wrong. And you need to have systems for when they go wrong. Because if you wait for them to go wrong, you're just going to be shocked all the time and irritated. So you just need to know that half the stuff you put out there, if not more, isn't going to go as planned. So what's the mechanism? Okay, great. What do we do? How do we debrief it? How do we replicate? And how do we go back at it so that it only sets you back one day instead of a month or a year?
Great. And then also, what's one of the major tips that you can give to the entrepreneurs or business owners or salespeople watching us here that are actually looking to make more sales?
Be truthful about everything you can be. The more truth you tell, the easier it is. And most of you listening right now, you probably already think you tell the truth. I'm telling you, you don't. You might tell portions of the truth, but you don't tell the whole truth because you're too afraid of what the marketplace is going to think of you. So you won't tell them everything, both about how great you are and about how many screw ups you're making. Instead of just saying, man, I messed up, you say, here's something I learned today. And your audience is going to want to know that stuff. They're like, oh, I'm glad. So here's something we messed up. Here's what we did about it. And here's what we think the outcome is going to be. And guess what? I made a tool for it. Would you like one? Right? Start sharing your flaws, your mistakes, and the feedback you're getting with your marketplace because it makes you human. It makes them relatable to you. Right? And then the other side of it is you have to be truthful with them as well to let them know how awesome you are. Because so many times we try not to. Right? Like this Sales Godfather brand. This is a personal brand I'm leaning into. I've been very reluctant because I'm like, who am I to claim I'm the Sales Godfather? And what are people going to say when I say that? It's like, I don't care. This is who I am. And it's more up to me to define the brand. The Sales Godfather doesn't mean I'm King Kong of sales. It means I'm great, world-class at what I do. Nobody's better. And the Godfather is about making sure that everybody's taken care of, making sure that everybody's winning, making sure that everybody's mission and movement is going forward. And we run a family of businesses, right? So it's our brand. It's not a label, right? But people have to know. If I don't believe in the greatness of that what I do, why should you?
Yeah, definitely. And then on top of that, like if someone wants to actually get in touch with you, find out a little bit more about you, your business and stuff, how they can do that?
You can find me on social, LinkedIn, on Facebook. If you go to gtenow.com /growth series. We have growth series workshops. We do a workshop every single month based on problems that scaling entrepreneurs are experiencing. And everything we do is hands-on, actionable, implementable so that you can be a part of it. There'll be show notes, there'll be notes for this in the show notes that you can jump onto. And if you say, if you say you're from Tony's world, we'll give you a discount code that you can get into them for so that you can get access. We want to help, that bottom line. And everybody can't afford premium dollars all the time. And a lot of problems we can solve for less than that. So we want to help you.
Absolutely. And I can share all these links in the description of this podcast episode. And so just before we close this episode, like if there is any question that I maybe didn't ask you, any tip, any advice, any wisdom that you would like to share with our audience, what would that be?
In the current climate of the world, business is very interesting. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of lack of trust. And you beating your chest about how great you are isn't going to be what gets people over the hump. And you being overly humble isn't going to solve it either. Just lean in and share with people what you know. Be the ambassador of what's going on. If you can be the one to share with them information about what's happening in the world and why it should matter, share your point of view. and your perspective, and let people start thinking the way that you think, because you're giving them a new way to think about business. Like with AI, the marketplace, our whole mission is to make sure that you are not worried about what happens in the White House. We want you to win in your house. And so that you win in business, so that you create your own economy, and it doesn't matter what's going on out there, because it might be hard for a lot of people, but it doesn't have to be hard for you. People in our world, it's not as hard for, because we empower them and equip them with the skills and the tools to create their own economy. And I just want you, listener, watcher here, to recognize that every single problem around you is nothing but an opportunity waiting to happen. And either you take advantage of those opportunities or you end up working for somebody else.
Totally. Thank you so much, Jim, for being an amazing guest. Thank you for this wisdom that you shared with us. Thank you all for watching and listening. And if you liked the episode, drop us a like and subscribe and share it with your friends and family. And see you all in the next episode. All the best and bye-bye.